Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this manager I had at this job I worked at. Like in my other story, it's 2015. I'm in a lot, and I got a job at this hotel called Rimanim. And I was meshik, right? Like the guys who clean like the bathrooms, the hallways. I was basically an underpaid janitor. So my manager was this Indian guy named Michael. Michael Panker. What a fucking character this guy was. Um, yeah, he was this Jewish guy, Indian Jew, immigrated to Israel, smart. He was high speed. He learned fluent Hebrew. He was a fucking dick. Sometimes I liked him, sometimes I hated him. And I guess it was the same the other way around. But this guy starts being a dickhead as soon as I got there, right? Like my first day, I was supposed to clean one of the bathrooms. This guy not only comes in the bathroom and watches me, but starts giving me instructions, right? And he's got a thick Indian accent. He spoke fluent Hebrew, but with an Indian accent, which sounds totally ridiculous. Like,
אני מדבר, אני מייקל, אני מדבר, במת בסדר? אני רוצה אותך לנקות את השירותים עכשיו?
I swear to God, that's how he spoke Hebrew. And, yeah. Yeah, and he starts giving me directions, though. Like, I've never cleaned anything before.
Like, okay, you have to take the mop, and you got to wet it in water, and you have to put it on the floor, and then you go like,
After a few minutes of this, I'm like, bro, I understand you're my manager, but if you don't, like, basically, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, I'm quitting already. Leave me alone. I know how to clean a floor. Finally, he backed off and didn't really bother me anymore. Well, he didn't stand over my shoulder and bark instructions. But one of his favorite expressions was so fast.
okay, I want you to go clean the hallway. Do it so fast. So fast.
Just like that. Yeah. Yeah. And there was this girl, right? Her name was Ankhal. It's this girl from India. Told you, a lot of Indians in a lot, including her. This is one of the hottest girls I've ever seen in my life. Most of the Indian girls I went to school with were fucking ugly. So I didn't even know there were hot Indian girls. I was dumb. This girl's like a supermodel. I mean, just beautiful face, perfect body. Nobody in Israel really dresses up, especially in a lot. A lot's a place where you go for a job interview in like shorts and flip flops and nobody cares. But she would come in these mini skirts and heels, these skirts hugging her ass, and everyone was just like, and despite Ankal being like 19 years old, Mike is about 45. He's completely in love with this girl, right? He tried to hit on her like every time he would see her. It's just pretty much, yeah, all the time. And it was pretty funny. It's like, dude, you're like old enough to be her father. Way old enough. You're twice her age. I know she's hot, but come on, she's barely out of high school. Jesus Christ. And I made the mistake of admitting to him one time how beautiful I thought she was. I'm like, man, that on-call girl is gorgeous, huh? And he kind of like nodded and was like, yeah, of course. Like he didn't think anything of it. Oh, no. No. All of a sudden, he starts seeing me as competition. And she was actually a really sweet, down-to-earth girl. Maybe the only girl that hot on earth that would even look at me. She was always talking to me, really nice to me. Great, great girl. But, come on, you think I really have a chance with that? Right. I'm going to steal her from you. Okay, Mike. Okay. But it got to the point where I had to clean the lobby, right? This was my first assignment of every shift. I started up in the hotel lobby, then I moved downstairs. And she worked behind the bar in the lobby. And this guy literally stood in the lobby the whole time I was cleaning it, just to make sure I didn't get too close to her and try to talk to her. Every time I would like go near the bar, I wasn't even speaking to her, but if I like looked in her direction, he'd like get in the middle of me and pretend to be giving me orders to tell me to go work and do something.
Okay, I want you to go clean the elevator over there. I'm like,
Mike, I cleaned that twice already.
I don't care. Go clean the elevator so fast. I'm like,
Jesus Christ. This guy really thinks I'm like stealing his girlfriend. What the fuck? Even if they were dating, I've almost never seen a guy be that possessive over nothing. Holy shit. He's trying to send me as far away as he can to go clean so he can hit on her more. This guy is unbelievable. And like I mentioned, he's a huge dick. Oh my God. Like, this guy was such an asshole that in January 2016, my grandma died. Lived until 99. Long life. And now I'm supposed to be going to her funeral. You know, in a couple of days, I was supposed to get on a flight to go to Florida. And I didn't have a suit. Right? And, well, no, I had a suit, but I needed it cleaned. And there are certain things in Israel that are just tough to find. Dry cleaners are one of them. You don't have the amount of dry cleaners you have in the U.S., and it's hard to find a good one. So I figure I'll use the dry cleaners at the hotel. Now, you're not supposed to clean your civilian clothes with the dry cleaners. Like, it's against hotel rules. But I figure I'm going to a funeral. I've never asked them for this favor before. They'll do it for me. And this fucking Russian bitch that's in charge of, like, the dry cleaning room was, like, pretending she didn't understand English and, like, blowing me off and telling me no. And my Hebrew wasn't very good at all. So I couldn't speak to her in Hebrew, nothing. So I go and tell Mike, and I'm like, okay, this guy's a dick. But he'll understand. He's not that much of a dick. So I walk into the dining room when he's eating, and I try explaining this, and he basically just ignores me and tells me to fuck off. I told him I was going to a funeral too. He didn't care. And probably just as dick, if not even more, was the time that my mom visited me in Eilat. This was after the funeral when I got back from the States. She flies to Israel too, meets me there. We go to Eilat, so she's going to stay in the Rimanim. I'm trying to support my job. I mean, why would I have my family stay in another hotel? That's stupid. So, my mom comes into the lobby to go, check in at the front desk. And I walk in there with her, and they have this stupid rule you're not allowed to be in the lobby when you're off work. If you're not wearing a work uniform, you're not supposed to be in there. It's retarded, but this was their rule. But I figure, okay, I'm with my mom. Like, they're not that anal. Wrong. This fucking security guard recognizes me from work and tells me to go outside. And I'm like, I'm with my mom. She's staying here. You understand? He's like, I don't care. It's the rules. You have to wait for her outside. And then my mom starts hearing this, and she walks up to this guy, and she's like, that's ridiculous. My son is having me stay here to support this hotel. I came all the way from New York. You can't do this. He doesn't give a shit what my mom says either. And I basically told the guy, go fuck yourself. I'm not waiting for my mom outside. So they can't make me go outside, so they decide to go call Mike, who happens to be on duty at the time. They try calling Mike on the phone from the front desk, and I'm like, I ain't talking to him, because I knew what he was going to say. I figured he was going to be an asshole about it after the whole suit funeral experience. And I'm like, fuck you. So Mike then calls me on my cell phone. And I hang up on him. So he calls the front desk back again. And the girl at the front desk goes, Michael says if you don't go outside right now, you're going to get fired. And I'm like, what the fuck? For wanting to escort my mom to the reception desk? Are you this big of an asshole, bro? What is wrong with you? First the thing with the funeral, now this? Holy shit. And then there happens to be this bigger, higher ranking manager, higher ranking than Mike. He was like an assistant GM, I think. And this guy was the one guy in the hotel that liked me. He was fucking cool. I tell him what happens. He takes that security guard into a corner, starts like yelling and cursing at him in Hebrew. And the guy had his head hung like, yes, sir, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I was rude to him and his mom. I apologize. And the manager's like, it is the rules, but take your mom up to her room. I'm an assistant GM. I can tell you, I can do whatever I want here. Fuck the security guard. So then after that, I guess Mike is really mad. So he's the assistant manager. He tells the head manager of Meshach, Beatrice, who hated me, to basically take me off the schedule. So I end up with like the next 2 weeks off after I was already off for a week or 2 weeks. So I didn't work there for like a whole month, and then they end up firing me. Allegedly, most of the managers hated me, but Mike hated me less than anyone else. So Beatrice kept trying to have me fired, and the guy that was actually coming to my defense was Mike. Ironically enough. He's a huge fucking asshole, but yet this guy kept coming to bat for me. And even in my termination hearing, where they have your manager come in, right? If they have anything to say for or against you, they could say it. Whole time I'm in there, he doesn't say a word, right? He didn't defend me, but he didn't say anything bad either. And I'm like, holy shit. This guy was actually my friend. Pretty shitty friend, but I guess better than anyone else at that place. Yeah. So, this was the story of my Indian manager, Mike, who spoke fluent Hebrew with a ridiculous Indian accent, and was a total asshole and a good friend to me all at the same time. What a guy. What a fucking guy.